Hi everyone, my name is Corinne Miller and I'm with Vital, and today I'm going to walk you through an example, a piece of content that we have in the example course so that you can understand how and why we apply the feedback to that graphic the way that we do. So first I'm going to go ahead and open up the example course, and you can see I have the math assignment, and I'm going to open up the college savings table. So I clicked on that file name, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on edit image, so it's going to open the edit tab. And then first off, we're going to go through and walk through the text tools. So first I'm going to go ahead and click on that says text tools here, and then first use, it's called search text, so it's the second icon in the sub menu. So I click on search text and it runs and it finds all the text in the image. So you can see now that little boxes appeared over all the text. And what this means is that when the student runs their finger over this little box, they're going to hear what's underneath of here, so child. So right when they run their finger over this color, it's going to read aloud child to them, just like text-to-speech does. So very soon we're going to be releasing an update that will allow all these boxes to be filled in so we don't have to go through that process that I'm going to show you here in a bit. And then also the boxes will be translucent, so that you'll be able to see the text through all the boxes, so we don't have to say move this like I did to show you child was underneath. So that's coming soon, so that'll be really helpful. But in the meantime, we're going to walk through how to fill, move, and then use a few other text tools to edit this graphic. So first I'm going to grab the fill tool, and then the first one in our library is 0. And go ahead, you can map these colors. So you can see that 0 is pink, and this is also this bright pink color, so that one's 0, and these are actually lined up. So this is 1,000, 2,400, 22,000, and then I have 36,000, so that one, this color is right here, and then 10, 13, 17, then you can see I have 4 18 entries because this is age when entered college, so they were 18, and all children are either 18 or will be 18 when they enter college. So I'm going to grab that first entry and just go ahead and fill each one of these because they're all going to read aloud 18. And then I can go through and actually delete these other text entries in our library so that we don't have so many. So the next tool that we can use, it's called compress text boxes. Again, it's under the text tools, and it's that first icon. So I'm going to go ahead and click that text tool, and I'm going to compress these boxes here. So you can see that we have additional savings needed per year is the text in this cell, and it actually split these apart, but we want them to be 1. So what I can do is I click down on the canvas, and it's going to trace like an invisible light purple box around each of these items, and then I just release my cursor, and now you can see I have one text object here, and I have the matching text label within the library, so that I actually combined our text entries as well. So next up, we're going to go through, I have age when, so you can see these were all separated as well. So we're going to run our compressed text boxes again. So you can see here it actually added the current age into it, but so we don't want this to be combined, so we're actually going to separate that out. So I'm going to grab my select tool, and I'm going to go into this text library, and you can see this is it's the third entry that you can see in the library now. I'm going to click on that, and then right below the text library there's an edit color, and I'm going to delete out current age. So now we just have age when entered college. Say OK. So the next items that we have, you can see, is cell empty. And there's a bunch of these. So this is cell empty. That means that the student needs to find the answer for that cell. So all of these are cell empties, and all of these are cell empties. You can see in these they actually combined it. So what we're going to do is actually take this one cell empty and our fill tool, and I'm going to go ahead and fill all of these that are one-time cell empty. Now these other entries actually have a dollar value associated from this cell or this column. So what we're going to do with those now is go in and we're going to edit them. So I'm going to keep the 30,000 and then get rid of the cell empty since we already have at in our text library. Now for all these others that we had all in these two columns, I can actually delete those as well now, because we had the one cell empty that we could use. I'm going to go ahead and delete this as well, clear that one up. So now you see we cleaned up our library a lot here. So let's go through and finish up the end of this, and then we'll go back to those two columns and clean them up. So I'm going to grab Charlie and my fill tool. Charlie's right here. The child, Christopher. So I'm just mapping colors. That's the easiest way to do it. I have a few college, so now we need to go back and use our compressed text boxes. So I'm going to compress both of those so that combined. So Christopher, and then we had college and college. So I'm not saying that we need that somewhere in particular, so I'm just going to leave those alone for a second. But then I have Craig, so I'm going to go ahead and grab Craig and fill that in. Okay, current age entered. So we had current age and entered here. So this is what it's combining a few different pieces of text. So it didn't actually delete all the different entries that we had for when we compressed these. So I can actually get rid of and per. Projected cost of college is one of our labels here, you can see underneath. And this one is years to college, so we're looking, here is our years to college. Current savings is one we're looking for. Let's fill that one in. Now we need the additional savings needed. So here we have a savings needed, so it actually didn't pick up the additional savings. So what I can do is just go to the edit below of the text library again and type in additional. So now it's going to read aloud additional savings needed, and we can fill that box. So now we just have two more here, so current age and the age when entered college. So you can resize these boxes, so I just clicked on it and then just resizing the shape so it's a little bit smaller over top of that text. So we have age when entered college. I'm going to go ahead and fill that here. And then we had the additional savings needed per year, fill that one. So now you can see that we only have two that are not complete. So current age, we don't have a label, and for number 5. So what we can actually do next, we have a button again below the text library. You can say new color. So you're creating a new label. So I'm going to enter 5. So that's right here now. I'm going to create one more, current age. And I have 2 new labels. So what I can do is grab my shapes, a square, apply that square. So I'm just go ahead and draw 2 squares on the canvas, and I can always refill them. So I'm going to add 5 to that one, and now we have to find our current age right here and fill that box. So now we have everything about appropriately labeled. I just need to edit these couple cells with our dollar values. So you can see I have 30,000. So that 30,000 is applied to this top, and then looks like 40 here. This one's 62, and then I'm going to double check. This one is 48. Fill. Okay, so now we're all filled. So what I'm going to do next is show you how we're going to resize these, and then also to say move these over, because we don't want them overlapping into these cells. So first off, one way to multi-select multiple objects is just to drag again and drop on the canvas, and then we can select all of these and then resize them so we don't have to do them individually. So I'm just going to make them a little bit bigger, and that's about the appropriate size. We don't need them to fill the entire cell, because we're going to go through on our next steps and we're going to add a border along both the horizontal and vertical cell borders, so that the student either hears a vibration or feels a vibration or hears an auditory cue whenever they cross those cell borders. So I'm going to continue here with my resizing. So you can see these aren't all perfectly sized. So I could try to resize it with a group, or I can just do them individually. It also doesn't take too long to do it that way. So just gonna make these a little bit larger, and they don't have to be perfect either. It looks like I forgot to fill one, Vanessa, so I'm gonna find Vanessa in the text library, and she should be at the bottom because we're in alphabetical order. So she's filled now. So I'm just going to walk through and get this done, and then we will move on to either the audio and the haptic layer to again add the borders on our cells. This one I'm actually going to make a little bit smaller. They don't have to perfectly cover the text. That's the beauty of being able to just add a text label wherever you like and not actually reading that text with a speech engine. So here we had, it was for the dollar value. So I'm going to just move each of these over into this column. Now multi-select them, drag them and make them a little bit taller. This one looks like it's the only oddball that's not long enough. So I made that one a little bit longer and now resize these. Okay, then I have these entries here that all say cell empty, and we actually need this in 3 different columns. So I'm resizing these to fit within the cells. That looks about good. And what I'm actually going to do next is use our copy and then paste. So you can see now we have 4 new ones. So it actually copied into Vanessa because I had that selected. But what I can just quickly do is grab cell empty and just refill these to change that. So the next time that we do it is copy, paste, and now we have them actually with cell empty. So one other tool we can use is erase. So I had this cell empty here already, this label, but I'm actually going to delete it since I could just copy and paste really easily all 4. So I selected it, and then you can see this trash can is the eraser. So now I'm going to select all 4 and move those over, and we have a complete text layer. So next up, we're going to go to the haptic layer. So what I want to do here is add lines that are going to run horizontally across. So when the student crosses a vibration into a new cell, they feel that vibration, and that's how they can recognize between, we're going to put haptic lines horizontally and then auditory lines vertically. So I'm just going to grab vibration 1. And in this case, what's going to be easiest to apply here is to use just our shapes. I'm going to grab the line, and I'm going to increase that line width. Let's do 4 to start. And then I'm just going to draw a line. So I just click down on the far left of the canvas and then dragged it over to the far right. So you can see that is a little bit thick, so we can resize it. And I'm actually going to take this down to a 3. I think that will be good. I'm just going to center this further on top of the table. So now what I'm going to do is just click that. And again, we're going to use the copy paste because that's the quickest way that we can go through and add these lines to the graphic. So I copied, paste, and I'm going to center this one below again. And then these lines on the tablet or on the canvas right over top of the lines in the table. Because now you can see how these lines are a little bit thicker, and we don't really want them to run into all of our text. You can move back and forth. So here's our text layer, and see how these are a little bit smaller so that they fit within these borders. So now our haptic layer is done. We're going to move on to the auditory. I think I'll use auditory 3, and then we could click this play button here. So now that we have auditory 3 chosen, we're going to go ahead and grab our line tool and do the same thing and draw our lines on the canvas. So we're at the line width 3 again. So So I have just a straight line. I'm going to move this again to more the outside of the table so that we don't interfere with our text labels. I'm going to copy and then paste this multiple times so that we have enough to then just apply the same auditory sound along each one of our vertical lines in the table. And then this is the last step, and this graphic is automatically saved, so there's no need to worry about saving it every time that we add a new line, any type of action here. It's saving that graphic so you never lose any of your work. So last line applied, and now it's complete. So you can see we have auditory going vertically, we have haptic running horizontally, and then we have our text layer. So now when the student runs their finger and explores this graphic on the tablet, they're going to be able to hear a beep, feel the vibration, and then hear Craig read aloud and all the other contents of this table. That is all. Goodbye.